September 22nd, 2019. Whitecat has just been unbanned, with the help of Skill and Firedigger.
Dude, you just got fucking unbanned!
What? No.
And at the time, there are few expectations about how he'll play, since although his profiles on private servers are impressive, they aren't really groundbreaking in any way, with his top plays mostly being run-of-the-mill DT farm maps. Although he does still stand out a bit because of the sheer numbers he was able to pull off, with his highest claimed play at the time being a Wizard's Tower DTFC that was worth over 1,000 PP, which would make him the third player to get one. This got the people who believed it excited. But even when taking into account every score he'd ever set on a private server, few could have been ready for the insanity that was soon to ensue. 20 minutes after his unban, he set a 900 PP play. He would then go on to gain 12,000 PP and get 2-digit, all in a single day. And although no one knew it at the time, this wouldn't be anywhere near the heights he'd end up reaching. Within a matter of days, he would get multiple 900s and get all the way to the number 2 spot, under only Vaxay. At the time, Vaxay had 2 1Ks and a very large lead over pretty much everyone else, and so it seemed like Whitecat might have some trouble here, especially since, even after proving that he could get 900s consistently, a 1K still eluded him. Until October 2nd, when he got his first of many. He'd gotten it on Last Goodbye with a few misses, which made it probably the most overweighted 1K, which continued to confirm the idea to some that although good, he probably wasn't going to blow someone like Vaxay out of the water anytime soon. But despite this, him taking the PP record was something that a lot of people saw on the horizon, whether they liked it or not. It was undeniable just how good he was at aim farming, especially now that he started to play 3-mod. And shortly after, on October 6th, he would take the number 1 spot. Skip to 2 days later, October 8th, which is where someone else important to the story comes in. FG Sky, arguably the top player with the strangest playstyle, where he'd been able to use the normally underrated skill of flashlight memorization, along with easy-to-read farm maps and incredible aim, to get plays which gave an unparalleled amount of PP, with his Shiori play even being the PP record at the time it was set. The thing was, this playstyle was also seen as very exploitative, and when, in February, PP was rebalanced, it made sense that his playstyle was on the chopping block. And pretty much everything that was changed was hugely detrimental to his playstyle's viability. And because of this, he'd slowly been overshadowed by people with more conventional playstyles, and despite his best efforts, Vaxay was still able to keep the PP record lead by over 100. Then, Whitecat had passed him in just 2 days, and also gotten a 1K, which was still out of his grasp. But FG Sky seemed to have a plan to overcome everything thrown at him by sheer will alone, since there was one map which he selected to demolish the PP record with, just Dead Ice. One of the most farmable maps ever, and because of its symmetrical 1-2s, also a slightly easier one to memorize. I say slightly easier because, despite what it might seem like, 9-star AR-11 jumps with flashlight will never be easy to memorize. And the aim required for the map, even without flashlight, would have challenged the best of players. And so, when going into the finale, the week of October 8th, there are a few things to keep in mind. Whitecat has one 1000 PP play, FG Sky has none, and nobody had 1.1k. Because this week, everything would flip upside down. FG Sky would finally set his first 1k on Tuesday the 8th with just Dead Ice 4-mod. But this was clearly pretty far from what he was trying for, and so he would continue to put in attempts on the map. And although Whitecat had reached the number 1 spot, he was still yet to have a super defining play that marked the start of an age of Whitecat. And so, on October 10th, when he booted up his stream, that seemed to be what he had in mind. It was clear from the start of the stream that he was playing pretty well, but what he was going to pull off would destroy expectations. Since, after only a few attempts, he did this on Magma. He'd set a 1,138 PP play, with the first ever 3-mod pass on the map. And this play would basically be the beginning of where we currently are, the age of White Cat. But there wouldn't be much time to dwell on this play, since only 2 hours later, FG Sky would get a run on Just Add Eyes. They would put this play's massive, almost unfathomable lead on the PP record into question. Just 2 hours apart, White Cat and FG Sky had done the impossible. Somehow, after months of retries, FG Sky had been ready to set the play on the exact same day White Cat would happen to pop off. And so, somehow, the PP record once again eluded him. He would go on to set the record 4 times on Just Add Eyes, without much competition, and White Cat would go on to get himself the largest lead in PP history, and have essentially no competition on the leaderboards. But these 2 plays would remain significant, because they were basically what started it all for both of them. FG Sky as the PP record king, and White Cat as the king of the rankings. And I think that's pretty interesting.